Hello and welcome to Fraggle Talk Classic, the unofficial Fraggle Rock podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. My name is Beth, and I am rewatching for the millionth time.
My name is Julia, and I'm rewatching for the first time in 10 years.
My name is Adam, and I am so excited to be here watching this for the first... Ah! Oh, God.
What's wrong?
Jeez. Oh, wow. We have a special guest. It just came out of nowhere.
They do tend to do that.
Hello, special guest. Could you please introduce yourself?
I didn't come out of nowhere. I came out of somewhere. You're nowhere. I was somewhere, and now I'm with you.
Fair.
Jocelyn Stevenson, and writer on Fraggle Rock, one of the people that helped put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that
incredible?
Anything more you need from me on that?
I don't think so. I think your reputation speaks for itself.
Well, I didn't mean it like that. No.
Oh, no.
No,
It is an
we are
honor and a
so
joy to have you
excited to
here.
have
Thank
you
you so
here.
much for joining us.
Oh, we've been looking forward to this. And Scared Silly is one of my favorite episodes.
I
Yes.
really like this one. Shall we dive right in?
Yeah.
Yes, today we are talking about episode 13 of season 3, Scared Silly, which originally aired on March 25th, 1985, directed by Douglas Williams and written by Jocelyn Stevenson.
Yay!
Yay!
I love the intro to this. One of the things that I love so much about this episode is just the little... Every scene gets its little setup moment. Every scene, and all those setup moments are so full of character. Like, it's not just we start off seeing Doc get pranked. It's we start off seeing Doc and Sprocket come home from getting groceries. And there's like a little conversation, and we get some little dialogue. And then we also get to see Doc being forgetful, and he sends Sprocket in to get the key. So we're getting character details. We're not just, here's the action. It's like, no, hey, here's the characters. Here's the buildup. It is a really nice sort of pacing that you don't see a lot in any kind of show these days, but especially not in children's media. And it warms my heart. It's very respectful for the viewer.
I can't tell you how much that means to me that you noticed that and that you've said that, because
Thank you.
no, it's on, it's on purpose. It's something I would try to do and have enough time in the episodes to do that. And I will default to character and story rather than to the joke as a writer.
Yes.
And so that's really, thank you. That is really, to me, a high compliment. I really appreciate that. Thanks.
Oh, this episode is full of it, and I'm gonna be pointing it out as we go. I have it in my notes. I was an elementary school teacher for 9 years, and I have a lot of really strong opinions about like children's media and what the parts of it that we examine versus don't examine say, and like the fact that kids will examine all of it subconsciously whether we meant to put stuff in there or not.
Yep. And that's what I love about kids and writing for kids. People often ask me, why don't you want to write for adults? My big answer to that is no.
Oh, I understand.
Well, this episode is was less of a sort of just an episode for me. It's psychodrama.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, because Dave and Steve, the puppeteers for Boober and Wembley, right?
Yeah.
Dave and Steve never stopped scaring people, me in particular, and I could never get them back. So this was like it was a psychodrama, this episode, with all of the three of us, because it was constant. They jump out at me, and all those scenes that you see, that Moki, everybody getting mad at them, and it was me. I would do that. And then that scene with Wembley saying, I've got to scare Boober, I was the same way. I've got to scare Steve, I've got to scare Dave, I've got to figure out how to do it. And I never...
Did you ever manage to pull it off?
Not really.
That, that feels fitting, given that Wembley also does not manage to pull it off.
I love this origin story.
Well, I did have a moment where I scared Steve so badly at one point with me and other people, and that it was that revenge moment where I realized, oh no, that was horrible. I wish I hadn't done that. So that part of it was also real. So this episode was like a real slice out of our lives when we were all doing Fraggle Rock.
I love that so much.
Oh, good.
Very good.
Good.
Art inspires life, inspires art, inspires life.
Yes, inspires art, heart, and art.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you.
The other detail I really want to point out in just this opening Doc and Sprocket scene is Sprocket tries really hard to stop Doc from falling into the prank, but he also does laugh when it happens.
Yes.
And that's important. One of the things that I get really frustrated with kids shows that I feel are not being as intentional is there's a lot of like sort of what I don't the best term I don't have the best term for it in mind, but the term I'm coming up with is moral purity, where like the good guys never make mistakes, or if they do, it's always an accident. And it's like, no, like everybody is morally gray, and it's really important for kids to see that so they don't feel like they're alone.
Yeah.
Because it was funny what happened.
Yeah. It's funny.
It's not like he didn't try to save Doc from it. And when I watched it,
the care is
when
there.
I watched it again, I actually thought Doc should have thanked him for trying, but he didn't.
Yeah, I agree with. Although maybe Doc's not quite there. We've been watching him grow over the course of this show, but maybe he hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Bless him.
So we go to the Fraggles, and we get this great. We could have just started with Boober scaring Wembley, but no, we get to start with Wembley on his way to Boober's, singing a little travel song.
It's so good.
And we get character detail, we get pacing, and it's just this great little character moment, and then it leads into him getting pranked.
But that character, that Wembley in this whole thing, Stevie Whitmire's energy, oh my God, it was amazing. And it just shoots out through the screen. His energy, he's just he's on it the whole time. I mean, Wembley's nuts, but that particular performance from Steve, I all the way through that show, I just thought it was wonderful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And all those
his little vocal sounds, they're so good.
All that stuff.
And we finally get the word Belubius, which I have been waiting for. I knew it was coming down the pipeline eventually.
Yes.
It's funny because I've heard you and Julia mention it once or twice and been like, all right, cool, that's a nonsense word. It'll be relevant later. And then I heard it here and I was like, ha-ha!
No, it means something. Yes, that word occurred to me for, the end of the Fraggle's Tale. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be called.
It reminds me of the Far Side comic where he decides that the spiny part of a stegosaurus's tail is called the thagomizer as a joke. And then all the archaeologists are like, I mean, we don't have a name for it. Cool, yeah, it's a thagomizer now.
That's great.
Exactly. And that word, Belubius, just kind of popped into being, like it was always there.
Yeah. Well, in my I always felt with everything with Fraggle Rock, we weren't creating it, we were discovering it, always. Feeling like it's always was there. We were just discovering it. And that was what was so great about it, because anybody who was there could discover stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, so if it was an assistant prop buyer had an idea, wait, I wondered if this that was all, we were all in the service of the best idea. I'm sure you've heard somebody say that.
That's such a good way to do it.
I love that.
God.
Collaborative storytelling, absolutely.
Yeah, very important.
I want to talk a little bit about the dynamic here, because Boober jumps out of the laundry and scares Wembley. And he says, good. And he explains it by saying he's testing Wembley's Belubius, and that he's going to be doing a series of tests to make sure that everyone has a healthy Belubius. But he does laugh.
Yeah.
He does laugh a little bit. This definitely smells of side bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, God, thank you for bringing up that. I never would have. I don't think, was side bottom there by then? I can't remember in the.
Yes, side bottoms showed up a couple of times.
Okay, because I just don't remember how the sequence. Oh yeah, it smells of side bottom.
And it's a trip too, because I remember actually the last time I think we saw side bottom was the time that he and Boober got to actually have a conversation.
Yeah.
And side bottom being like, hey, like, I won't make as much trouble if you let me out every so often. We can work together. I know you have fun too. And so this feels like character progression almost for Boober.
Aw.
In a way that is really nice to see.
I love that you say that you see that. That's brilliant.
I never thought of it that way. I love that connection.
I didn't either. I didn't see that.
Oh.
So thank you for pointing that out.
You're so welcome.
So I've seen this episode now twice, just because of the previous time we were supposed to record, and that was something that struck me, because the first time I watched it, I felt that this was so out of character for Boober. Just, obviously he is a creature that lives in anxiety. So there is some sense that he wants to be prepared to, like, he wants to make sure the Volubius works. And he, is already so scared that doing this is maybe just second nature. But there is like a more playful element to him in this episode than we've gotten in previous seasons. And I do think that that is because of Sidebottom and like leaning more into just being like a little jokey and like having some fun, kind of ribbing Wembley a little bit. So I definitely saw the influence of Sidebottom.
I love that. I love working with Davey on Sidebottom was one of my favorite collaborations ever. Because, well, just being able to be working that closely with the puppeteer on how they create their characters. But, I learned a lot about Dave. But he's definitely he's both Boober and Sidebottom as a person. So, oh yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And, if he hears me say that, he would absolutely agree. He would know that I know that.
Might even take it as a compliment.
Well, their characters don't come. That's the thing I really learned working with these. I mean, imagine, such a privileged joy and whatever to work with those puppeteers all those years. And those characters don't come from nowhere. That's them. And it's always, I was so amazed how they get it out from them and put it on the end of their arm. And I mean, I just find that whole thing absolutely magic. And there's big difference between people who really are puppeteers and people who aren't.
Yeah.
It's not just about, as somebody used to say, you just waggle a dolly.
Right.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I have said it on this podcast before, and I will say it again. Karen Prell, I think, has done the pinnacle of puppeteering feats that I, to this point, cannot figure out how. She had a puppet do an impression of another puppet. I don't know how you even begin to think about that.
I worked with Karen on Red.
Yeah.
Red Fraggle, one of our, the two of us, a great sort of collaboration too. Yeah, Karen made, never mind. I just couldn't say enough nice things about Karen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
And continuing in Back to the Rock.
Yeah, that's what gets me. Continue. And also, it's hard being a puppeteer. Nobody's getting any younger.
Yeah.
And then Back to the Rock, she's doing all sorts of stuff. She's underneath water and what? I mean, it's one thing for Johnny Tartaglia. He's young.
Right.
Karen, nope, she wants to do it, and she's done such a brilliant job.
Yes, this great interaction. We now get Tosh and Beastie coming along.
I love this big weird dog thing so much. I love that it gets to do a big yawn.
Yes. Beastie is being puppeteered by Karen Prell and Tosh by Trish Leeper.
A legendary Karen Prell. She would have Beastie do a big yawn.
Of course.
Yeah.
So Boober winds up scaring Wembley again before we even see Beastie. And then Wembley is determined that he's going to get Boober back.
Yep.
And he's like practicing and doing his best and accidentally scares himself by doing a little turn into Beastie. And I love that Wembley doesn't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I love that we get to see a character want to do something and not even just be bad at it, but just not know how to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of times in shows, characters are just good at a thing, or not even just good at it, but they just know how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's like understanding what you have to do, and then there's doing it, and that's two different parts of the process. And Wembley doesn't even really understand the how yet. And that's a really important thing for kids to see, because kids are always doing something for the first time.
Also, it was real. I did not know how to scare Steve and Dave. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know how to do it. It kept backfiring on me. It was, I mean, that little bit of Wembley was really me.
Yeah.
In this particular instance.
And I think that's part of why it resonates so well, is like this is clearly coming from a actual struggle of life.
Experience. Yes, I mean, my poor kids, when I would come home and I'd jump out and scare them, and they had to tell me to stop, but just trying to practice. But I could never figure out how to scare, because Dave and Steve were the masters.
It's a trip. You say that and you're reminding me, my dad and I used to try to scare each other. And in hindsight, it was very clearly him trying to teach me how to like be peripherally aware and like, look a couple of times. And also if I was trying to prank him, how to be, actually move quietly. And I remember the closest I came to getting him is he was in the kitchen and I was in the bathroom, and I must have been like 11 or something. And I was like, oh, well, he thinks I'm in the bathroom. Okay. And so I popped the screen door off the bathroom and climbed out the window and snuck under the kitchen window in the backyard around to where the backyard door was open. And then I came in to try to get him from the other side. And the only thing that gave it away was the sun was at my back. And so he saw my shadow.
Whoa.
And he just stuck his hand into an empty box from a box of wine and then just stuck it out the door and went, whoa, 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 whoa. And I jumped about 2 feet into the air.
I have a very similar story trying to scare Davy Goltz.
Oh, please tell.
Because we were out and about in Toronto on the street ever, and I was getting money out of a cash machine, and suddenly I heard this, and I was absolutely terrified. I froze. I thought I was about to be mugged, and I turned around, and it's Dave. Okay. That's me. And anyway, we part. I go on to do something else. Then later, a little bit later, I see him looking at some shoes in a shoe store. He was crouched down looking at these and I thought, just like you were saying, I thought, I'm gonna get him. And that little bit, that little bit, because when I describe this, I always do the tink, 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 tink. That bit that Boober did.
Yeah.
Well, I would sneak up on Dave, tink, 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 tink. And when I got up to him, he goes, hello, Jocelyn. Because he'd seen my reflection in the window.
Oh.
And it was curses. I was spoiled again. Yes.
Ah.
So there. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I mean, the idea of him seeing my reflection hadn't occurred to me because I did not know how to do it, just like Wim.
It is a fascinating mix of lots and lots of different skills, right? It's a complicated thing.
It is. Yeah.
So Wembley's like, all right, I'm clearly not going to be able to do this on my own. I'm going to go for help. And so we get my favorite side character, Marjory and the rats. Always excited to go visit them. Phenomenal. And again, we get establishment of what's going on in the scene before Wembley gets there. We get the rats that are arguing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And we get to see Marjory being like, I have read the same sentence 6 times.
Yep.
And then Wembley shows up. And so we get to understand the dynamic of what's been going on with them as Wembley's walking into it.
Because it also plays up later on. So
it does.
Yeah.
I also just really like the escalation because when the rats are first doing the did not, did to, it starts off as like a did not, did to, did not. There's like a sing-songy aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that contrasts for when they actually start to get really frustrated with each other later in the episode.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that Marjory gives them multiple warnings. At first she's like, okay, I'm going to lose my temper if this continues. And then she eventually says, when I blow up, I'll blow up at both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Philo is saying, well, don't blow up at me, blow up at him. He's the one who did it.
As children
So they're
do.
using the term blow up in a figurative sense, meaning either angrily or getting back at someone.
Yep.
And Wembley, bless his heart, this whole episode hinges on him misunderstanding this phrase.
Yeah.
Very literalist.
Yeah.
But I want to touch on this moment because I love the advice she actually gives. Because Wembley's like, well, Boober scared me and I want to scare him back. And of course, Philo and Gunge are like, yeah, you got to scare him back. You can't let that stand. But Marjorie's like, maybe he was just trying to test your Volubius. Maybe he was trying to help. And Wembley's like, no, but I want to get him. And she says, if you try to scare your friend back, that is revenge. And if you seek revenge, you take the consequences.
Yes.
And I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Because so often it's like, oh, revenge is bad. Oh, revenge is good. Revenge is the. But it's so much simpler and so much more important than that. It's just, no, revenge will come with consequences.
Yep. Because it's Wembley's story and he's got to cause whatever's happening to him. He's driving the story. And that's really important, that he decides to take revenge, even though he knows or he's been told there will be consequences. And that's a mistake he makes. which he discovers.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you again. Too bad you weren't
He's
around
so
when we
good
were
at
writing
this.
these. We needed somebody like you to be on the writing team. I mean, it's brilliant.
Oh,
Seriously.
that is high praise. Thank you very much.
But seriously, what you're noticing, I just love that you notice that, because all this thinking goes into it.
Yeah. That's honestly been one of my favorite parts of doing this podcast is getting to go through each episode with a fine-tooth comb and see things that I didn't see as a child and realize, oh my gosh, this little moment, it's been there the whole time, and it gives everything so much more context.
Thank you.
It is an absolute joy because like that is how I think about almost all stories when I have a chance to actually sit and think about them. And so often it's like jumping into a pool and finding out it's a kiddie pool. You're like, what's going on here? Oh, that's it. Oh, that's all. But this one is like, oh, there's more here. Oh, there's more here. Oh, wow.
That's a really good metaphor. I like that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I'm always hoping you will jump into my stories and swim around a bit and find other places. And oh my God, it goes here and there, but it's all connected in the same pool.
Yes.
It is. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
and
I
also
love that.
it's connected in a way that there's so much respect for the audience, which thank you for that. The number of times the kid shows are like, and then this thing. Oh, did you see it? This thing again. Look, just in case you didn't see it, we're going to... And you just like, no, here, it's here. You'll see it when you look for it.
I remember when we would when we first had the theme song, and you know that bit where they go Wembley, Boober, red quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There were people that said kids won't get that, and the rest of us went, "Are you joking? They're gonna love that. They'll be able to sing it before you've even noticed that it's happened." You know. So it is that same thing of just giving them credit for understanding a whole lot more than people think they understand.
I got to homeschool a couple of kids who were 5 and 8 when I met them, and they are currently 14 and 11, and they can still sing the weird little songs that I made up while I was petting their dog, word for word.
Oh,
they remembered a verse that I had forgotten.
Wow.
You are so the right person to go through this stuff with a fine-tooth comb. It's brilliant.
I know.
It's so important to give kids credit.
Yeah, we'd like to say that, anyone who doesn't think that kids are incredibly complex and discerning don't remember what it's like to be a kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So Marjory does something that I wish I could do and is like, I'm done with this, and just like
Sinks.
lets go of her physical form and collapses into a pile of her aggregate parts, which, God, that sounds so relaxing.
Yes.
If I could just be like, no, I'm just a pile of meat.
Would love to not have a skeleton for a while.
She's a master of relaxing, I think. I'd never thought of that before.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think, and that's very important nowadays, to be able to relax like that.
And Philo and Gunge stick around, and we get a little sort of angel on your shoulder, devil on your shoulder action where they're like, no, you gotta get him.
Yeah.
And we get a little song.
Oh, I love this song.
Mm-hmm.
So this is called Scare Them Boo. This was also one of the songs covered on the 2018 Do It On Our Own album, covered by the band Audacity. And I really love that this is another one where we get so many little background critters.
Oh, okay. So I watched this and took notes on it when we first were prepping to do this. And my partner was walking by and she was like, is that Fizzgig from the Dark Crystal?
Yes!
And yeah, Fizzgig from the Dark Crystal is one of the background villain here. It's the weird fluffy guy with a mouth that's way bigger than you'd think.
Uh-huh.
I love that she spotted that.
Yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't looking at it.
I haven't seen the Dark Crystal. I was a big Muppets kid, so I grew up on the Muppets. I've watched all the movies and seen most of the episodes, but I hadn't seen a lot of the other IPs.
Yeah, I knew that when I invited Adam to do this podcast. I was like, I knew he was a Muppet nerd, but hadn't seen any Fraggle Rock. I was like, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool, actually.
I got really lucky. My parents, I got raised by boomers, and they made sure I knew a lot of the old school where stuff came from. So I got to grow up watching Red Skelton and Sid Caesar's Your Show of Shows and stuff like that.
That's great.
So then Wembley decides he's going to scare Boober again, and it just doesn't work.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
And we get a really wildly chilling line from Boober. Boober's like, you're not going to scare me. Face it, Wembley. I'm an expert on fear.
I know. Oh my gosh. That line It's so accurate too, because of course Boober is an expert in fear. He's the anxious one.
That's right.
All of the rest of the time when everything seems safe to everyone else, his mind is spinning with all of the things that could go wrong. I might have talked about this on the podcast before, that it reminds me of early quarantine in 2020 when the world was suddenly so anxious. Everyone's got all this fear, and part of me felt like, okay, this is what I have prepared for. I've been dealing with anxiety for years. Let me know. I've got tips and tricks to help deal with the existential dread.
It reminds me of the Tumblr post that's like, I think it might be nice to be hunted for sport. Not because that sounds like a fun thing, but because finally my anxiety would have a proportional thing to respond to.
Real.
Yes.
Too real.
Yeah, so that's how Boober taught them, because Wembley knows Boober's the master of fear, so.
Yeah. And it's nice seeing that has like other applications other than just anxiety.
Yes. Well, as you say, it's with a pinch of side bottom now.
Very much.
So
Yes.
I hadn't seen that. So I'm really appreciating seeing that's part of it.
It does. It definitely seems like it. It reminds me of the first time I actually started reading about Edgar Allan Poe's life. And it turns out he was incredibly anxious.
Right. That makes sense.
Deeply paranoid. And like, yeah, okay, I see you got to process some stuff with your writing. Good for you, bud.
Yeah.
There's also the puppeteering. Wembley is found out because he's wagging his tail because he's so excited, and he's just doing such a bad job at hiding.
I know. That's I didn't have a tail, but I would always do a very bad job at hiding in the human
It's hard.
in the human version of this story. Yeah, and Wembley, bless him. He was trying so hard. He's so excited. He thinks it's going to work.
Right? So we smash cut to the traveling Matt card. And he's continuing this trend of just like breaking into people's houses. Which I get that he doesn't really understand non-communal living, but is always very amusing because you're just sort of watching it and you're like, oh, Matt, you're doing a crime.
So yes, he's in where is he today?
He's
somebody's
in just a
house.
random house, and then he walks into it like a kid's
Yeah,
bedroom.
he walked
Oh,
into
that's
their bed
right.
with their Bluebius testers.
Yeah, he thinks the alarm clocks are Bolubius testers, and then they just hit the snooze, and he's like, well, it wasn't very effective, so I decided that I would do a proper Bolubius test.
And tries to scare them, and they just start hitting him with their pillows.
Fair and valid. If a random little dude woke me up in the morning and just was in my room, I would hit him with whatever the closest stuff was to me, too.
Yes, I don't remember writing that one. That doesn't mean I won't take credit or blame for it. But I noticed rewatching it that we didn't lead into it. It just is there, which I thought was interesting, because we come out, because we haven't seen the other Fraggles. Then we come out of the card and Gobo's reading the card, and so then we see the other Fraggles, and I thought, that's nice that we did that, as a way.
Yeah.
As a how many ever years later, looking back, going, that was quite good. We did that. Yeah.
Yeah. I also I want to point out another thing that I love, because we've gotten the traveling Matt backstory now. We've seen young traveling Matt. And so now when we see him like startle and knock over a bunch of books, it's not just a comedy bit, it's a character detail.
Yeah.
Because he does that, and he knocks over the books and immediately goes, oh, sorry. And it's like, yeah, he still does that. That's a part of who he is.
That's Dave Gold's through and through. Dave Gold's character creation, one of the world's best.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So they're talking about like, where's Wembley? And we have this great moment of Wembley practicing to try to scare Boober, and he winds up scaring Moki and Red.
Yeah.
And they're both very Moki and Red about it. Moki's a little condescending about it and very clear, and Red gets really aggro. And Boober even has a little line about how, all of your Bolubiuses are quite healthy. But there's a great little character moment that I want to point out here. Gobo steps in and does a redirect.
Yeah.
Red's getting like really mad at Wembley, and Gobo's just like, I'm gonna race you to Gumbo Gulch. And Red's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I love that Gobo distracts Red, but I don't think he notices how much genuine distress Wembley is in.
Yeah. And it's interesting because he's clearly trying to run some interference.
Right.
But I don't think because that's one of the problems with having just sort of general anxiety is when you're doing worse. If somebody isn't paying close enough attention to tell the difference between the default 7 and a 9, it can be hard to clock that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it seems like the 10 came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. But I love that we're already seeing consequences.
Yeah.
Marjory said, you seek revenge, you take the consequences. And the consequences are, hey, man, your other friends are kind of mad at you too now.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah.
And also, and it's such a little thing, but Wembley gets so mad he punches a wall.
Yeah.
And then he immediately puts his hand in his mouth because it hurts.
Yeah.
And I just that's a thing that teenage boys will do because they don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they'll, hit drywall and put a hole in it. And sometimes they'll hit a stud and then they have to go to the ER.
Oh, no.
Oof.
That's pure Steve Whitmire. That was brilliant. Yet another example of brilliant puppeteering.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The whole way through watching those guys, it just made me miss them all. It was always so much fun actually being on the set and watching them.
Yeah.
That must be an absolute treat, too, as a writer, to have given them, the skeleton of something and then to see them adding more and more little, filling in the gaps of all the stuff.
I can't.
It's one of my favorite things about any creative process.
Oh, I can. And it was so wonderful for, when we were doing the original series, the writer had to be on the set.
Mm-hmm.
That was just how it was done. When we did the Back to the Rock, they couldn't afford to bring the writers to the set in Canada. I mean, it was disappointing because that part was,
that's rough.
Yeah, it was just,
Yeah.
I mean, Matt and Alex were on the set, but it was just disappointing because that was the most fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
And to watch them, just as you say, take something that you'd written and it was, it's pretty good on the page and they just make it sing,
Yeah.
Mm.
They fill in the little gaps that you didn't even realize were there.
Exactly.
It's interesting. I've gotten that a lot working with other people doing musical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was working on an EP that is still in limbo, but I was working with a buddy of mine who's a producer and also a drummer, and he was like, hey, can I throw some drums on this just to see what it sounds like? And it changed the song completely and made it so much better in a way that I would never have been able to conceptualize.
This is why I don't understand when people don't like to collaborate, because it's that kind of moment that you never could have thought of. That somebody else contributes, and it's absolutely magic. I agree with you. So I love the musical comparison analogy there too. Brilliant.
You're creating something that is more than the sum of its parts in a way that I absolutely love. And if y'all will permit me a small soapbox moment, this is the thing that people who try to use AI for creativity just don't get.
Yup.
Yeah.
Because this is the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You come up with a thing, you have an idea, and then you flesh it out. And in the act of fleshing it out, you see all the weird little places it can go and all the little gaps you can fill in with patterns that will make it better than just the idea that it was.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to do that kind of depth on your own because you only have your own one limited perspective. But if you've got people around you who are looking at the same thing but looking at it through different angles, then you're going to get all those perspectives in the finished product.
And even if you are doing it on your own, you still get that moment of oh, I'm going to go back and look at this and I can see it in a different way. And let me fill in this here and let me add this little detail. And that's just, you miss out on the joy of that if you just press a button and crank something out.
We're all so on the same page that the page is deeply crowded with our feelings about it.
Oh yeah. It's okay. We'll position the illustrations carefully so it all fits. I did want to talk about that Wembley and Boober conversation because one, this highlights a little bit more of the Boober keeps scaring Wembley, but he's kind of trying to teach Wembley how to do it a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
And this is the first time he gets direct about it. He says, because he, says he's going to be going all the way off to get some soap rocks at, do you remember the name of the
Rock
place?
Soap Cavern.
Rock Soap, there it goes. I thought it was too simple.
The creativity of that name, come on.
I mean, what it reminds me of the hills in England that if you translate their name, it's just hill, 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 hill.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. And here I live here.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because, they asked the locals what this is called, and they were like, oh, it's called local language for hill.
Right.
And then they were like, oh, well, we're going to call it that hill.
Just adding the word hill on in every language.
Yeah. Sahara Desert. Desert. But Wembley's like, oh, I'm going to stay back and I'm going to set up the most amazing scare. And then Boober waits till Wembley is on that thought train and then pops up and scares him again. And he says, Wembley, it's all in the timing. And then
Kisses him, doesn't he?
gives him a little kiss on the nose.
It's so good.
Which, like, one, I'm trying to remember if we've ever seen a Fraggle kiss another Fraggle. And two, platonic kisses between male characters are so rare ever.
Yep.
Like, it's such an important little thing. Like, if Aragorn can kiss Boromir on the forehead, you can kiss your homies on the cheek.
Yes. Yeah, I think we've gotten, like,
Didn't
Moki
like gave, I think, Boober a kiss on the cheek in an earlier episode.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. This one is adorable and important. There was, at some point during my notes, I just wrote, what a treasure Dave Goles is. He's just
Yes.
doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he used to scare me so much, I didn't think he was a treasure. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, at the
Well,
time,
he's
I'll bet
allowed
not.
to be a complex individual, and the audience will understand.
You can be a treasure and a terror at the same
Very
time.
good. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also connected with Dave and Steve's relationship as themselves, because it was just Boober just doing that, I mean, almost final little insult to by giving Wembley a kiss.
That's such a good point, because that actually, the thing that honestly it made me think the most of, not Fraggles but Muppets, it made me think of Muppet Christmas Carol, where there's a moment where Rizzo gives Gonzo a kiss on the nose.
That's right.
Like,
Well, good thinking.
yeah, which is
I like
it
that.
is the two of them, which, you know, I
Yeah.
often think of the core Muppet guys in pairs, and I always think of Dave and Steve together during this era. And
Yep.
those two have great chemistry, and this is a great episode between the two of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then we get our second song.
Which, I love this song.
Mhm.
It's an absolute bop. I want to dance to this while cleaning things.
It's so cute.
It was also Doug Williams and Stevie working that whole thing out.
Yeah, there's complicated puppetry going on.
It's very and just direction and how to do it. I remember that taking some time.
Mm-hmm. I also just want to point out, he does the same little Wembley scat sounds that he does at the beginning. And I love that now we're getting to hear it with backup music, like he hears it in his head.
Oh, well done. You have such a great way of seeing things. That's brilliant. I hadn't thought of that too.
Oh, thank you. I caught that on the second rewatch. I was like, oh, he's doing that. Oh, that must be what because, like, you know, we've all done it, right? You're like wiping the kitchen counter down, or you're organizing something, and you're like, and in your head you're hearing like, and the bass line's going, and it's,
and anyone who walks into the room would be like, well, they're having a little party in their head. I can only hear the little bebops.
Mm-hmm. So he decides he's going to go back and tell Philo and Gunge because they'll be super excited about it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we get the key miscommunication here.
Well, we see that Philo and Gunge have scared Marjory with some snakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's where, Marjory says something along the lines of, you scared me so much, I could have blown up.
Yep.
Which Wembley takes literally.
Yeah, this is the second time we get that language of blowing up being the crux of the misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a shift in a really, really excellently put way, because we get to see Wembley realize, like, oh, we get to see him start to process the unintended consequences.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's taking it very literally in a silly way, but the emotion that he's having is genuine. He wants to scare Boober. He doesn't want to destroy him.
Right. Yeah, he thinks that if he scares Boober too much, that Boober will literally explode.
And it led to my favorite line I've ever written. I'm in the land of having blown up.
Yeah.
I wrote that one down.
Oh, God, that whole scene.
Even hearing it again all these years later is like, oh, yeah. That's one of my favorite ones, along with the line for Cantus. There are no rules, and those are the rules.
Yes.
So-
Classic.
Oh,
I love that one.
Cantus is my other favorite side character. I love him so much.
But I'm in the land of having blown up. Again, Adam, it's what we were saying. The kids will follow you there with that logic,
Yeah,
right?
they
Yep.
will.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
And they will be amused, but they will understand.
Yeah. And this is what it looks like. Wow, this is the land of having blown up. Whoa.
Looks really similar.
It's like reality shifting. It's quite nice.
Yeah. I wanna touch on a moment before that, because he like tries to go and get help from Gobo and Moki and Red, and they don't want to deal with him. They're really mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he comes back. We get a great line from Gobo too. He says, "You scared the radish resin out of me."
Yeah.
But we get to see Wembley just genuinely grieving.
Yeah.
And like, it's a little bit played for, the big emotion comedy, but there's like not music underscoring. It's just Wembley really believing that he killed Boober.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "I'm going to clean up. You wouldn't have wanted to leave a messy room." And it just like, that's a big feeling, my guy.
Yeah. I love that Boober has gone off to take a nap in the pantry, which communal pantry, go take a nap in it. Why not? It's very Boober.
That's funny. I hadn't thought of that too.
He's just like, "Well, I want to take a nap, but it's too messy here." And so then Boober comes out, and Wembley's like, through tears, trying to explain, like, "No, man, we're both dead. This is the land of having blown up." And then Philo and Gunn show up, having taken the masks, and the other Fraggles are like, "Why would you send these rats around to scare us? Like, you are taking this too far." And they finally reassure Wembley, and they're like, "No, you're not going to blow up. Nobody's going to actually explode. Like, that's not how that works. Marjory sent us out here to handle this, this miscommunication."
Yep. We had to get them back, in a reasonable way. So the masks made it more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See,
Those masks were not going to be there for no reason. The little rats wearing these giant masks is such effective puppetry.
It's great, too, because you get these great little moments of them, scaring the heck out of Wembley. And then they're like, "Did you hear anything?" "I didn't hear anything." "What? I can't see anything." Bonk.
That's Richard and Dave, wasn't it? Richard, Hunt, and Davy.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so there was a Doc and Sprocket segment we missed real quick. We should touch on that.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was just set up for the end.
He's gonna get his revenge, supposedly.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just sitting there waiting because they know he'll come through the door any second.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut back. I wanna point out something that I also really like here is, Wembley is so relieved, and then Boober apologizes. He says, "I was trying to help, but I took it a little too far."
Yes.
And one of the things that I really appreciate, and one of the things that I had, a trusting frustration with some of the beginning parts of the show, is there weren't a lot of moments of like, "Oh, this character did something that clearly hurt this other character. They apologize because they, feel bad about it."
Right.
And, that's the part of the growth arc where they haven't figured out how to do that yet. But it's really nice to see that here, especially for something as like, subtle as like, I was trying to help, but I did take it too far. There's nuance there.
Yeah, and the definite influence of Sidebottom,
Yeah, no kidding.
which Boober knows he has to apologize for that every now and then.
So Boober apologizes, and we cut back to Doc and Sprocket, and they're just sitting there because Ned Schimmelfinney never showed up.
Oh, right.
Yeah, serves them right.
Yeah, and I love that Doc is like, "Yeah, it does serve us right."
Yeah.
And then he stands up and triggers all of his pranks on himself. And then
Except
he just
the
laughs at
armadillo.
himself.
Didn't you miss the
Oh,
armadillos?
yes.
They never
Oh,
did anything.
God, you're right.
Armadillo.
Yeah, that was a part of the... There's a scary mask.
Yeah.
There's a spring-loaded boxing glove. And
Yeah.
then there's secret button-activated armadillo.
Which never happens.
Nope.
Never mind.
Well, I mean, because he wasn't there to press the button.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
True.
But he just laughs at himself because it's a silly moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that that's the line, the beat that we end on is like, yeah, sometimes you just got to laugh at yourself. Sometimes it's funny.
And sometimes that can be the consequence is, it
Yeah.
turned around and scared myself. Whoops. Those are the occasions when it's good that was the only bad consequence, that the consequences weren't worse than that.
Well, when you realize the consequences weren't actually having blown someone up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then laughing is a really much easier
Mhm.
thing to do.
Like, oh, you mean the stakes were never life and death to begin with?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mhm.
Phew. But you had to believe for the story, you had to believe that they were. For the story,
Yeah.
you had to believe that those were the stakes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's also just really good representation of something the show has touched on before in The Joke Isn't Funny Anymore.
Yeah.
Of like, that is a balance that kids kind of just have to map with experience of when it's funny and when they go too far.
Yeah.
And that's something that I saw a lot in the classroom.
I bet you did.
But every so often there would be this craze of like pulling the chair out from somebody right as they were about to sit down. And it always ended the same way, with somebody crying. And then the friend who did it also crying because they're like, that's not what I wanted to make happen.
Yeah.
And I would always say the same thing, which is like, hey, when your friend's done crying, you're going to go apologize. But I want you to remember what you're feeling right now. And the next time you want to play a joke, remember that feeling.
Yep.
That's important.
Very.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you want to share about the writing of this episode, Jocelyn?
Or writing for Fraggle Rock in general.
Writing in general, yeah.
Well, one of my favorite ever, experiences. What a thing to be able to do that. And it's where I learned too, because before that I'd been working on books and publications and Muppet Annual. I went from Sesame Street to working with the Henson Company, and I remember then started working on Fraggle Rock because Jim put us together to, as you know, to create a series that would help stop war, obviously. And then Jerry Jewell was just my creative mentor. And he said to me to begin when I first started doing, he said, look, you know a lot about character, and that's the secret. The rest of it's form. So I would call him nervous and call him up. Because I'm working in Wales, right? And he's in California. And we were like the first people that ever used the internet for communicating, sending scripts to each other. I mean, it was wild. This is like early 80s, right? But Jerry, I remember calling Jerry up once because I was trying to write this script. And I had to call him and say, Jerry, what's a two-shot? And he goes, Jocelyn, it is a shot with two characters in it. Oh, it was like I had it in my head that it was all so much more complicated than it was. And I think in the first episode that I wrote that I felt I really got it was The Minstrels. That first season. Really, and Jerry he gave us books on story structure, and we had to answer has anybody ever told you this? On every script, we had to answer 4 questions at the top of the script.
Oh.
Has anybody ever?
No.
Whose story is it? What is his or her goal? What is his or her risk, i.e. what happens if they don't reach the goal? And what do they learn? What from the beginning to the end?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a good framework.
And basically those are, you read all sorts of books on storytelling, story structure and all that. That's really basic. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
People make bigger, sort of go into much more detail about things. No, 4 questions. And you can apply it to anything. You can, look at a film, for instance. Often you'll look at a film and you go, what was it about that film? And you realize it wasn't anybody's story. Or the big one is, there's no risk.
Right.
So who cares if you don't reach your goal? That kind of thing. So writing, it was major for me. It, taught me a lot.
That's so important too, because that is one of the, touching on motivation and having there be an overarching motivation is one of the key things that makes characters work.
Yes.
There's a difference between plot and story.
Ooh.
Definitely.
Plot is just what happens, and the story, though, is about the character. The story is how do they change from the beginning to the end of the story.
Yeah. Oh, very well
and we used
said.
to do we used 3-act structure, as you probably know. And at the end of the first act, it was we always said that's the so the character's done some set this whole thing going, right? And then the end of the second act,
Wow.
That rules.
That's
so there you go for rules.
the best way I've ever heard to put 3-act structure.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, thank you for that.
Anytime.
Oh, I'm absolutely stealing that. So at the end of each episode, we like to think about a little takeaway that we can glean from this episode of how to make the world a little fragglier. And I should have thought of mine ahead of time, and I did not.
I've got one.
Go for it.
it is always worth giving yourself a little musical soundtrack while you're doing stuff.
Oh.
Even if it's just your mouth going boom, ba-choo, ba-choo, boom, ba-choo, ba-choo, ah, ah.
I will say that occasionally you just take something a little too far, and it's okay to apologize to a friend, especially if no real harm has been done. Just saying, hey, I'm sorry. It's nice.
And scaring somebody too much, you won't make them blow up.
Whew. Oh, that's an important
That's
lesson.
great. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Be sure to check on your Belubius. Make sure that it is healthy so that you can survive being scared.
Nice.
Very important.
Oh, Jocelyn Stevenson, thank you so much for joining us today. This is such
I loved it.
a joy and an
So much
honor.
fun. Thank you so much for asking me. And I'm glad we managed to do it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for pursuing it. Really loved it.
Oh, thank you. Where can folks find you and your work these days?
Oh, where can you find? Oh, well, the thing I've been doing is these 2 books I've written in the last couple of years called The Waterubas, books 1 and 2. We're on at The Waterubas on Instagram. And that's the best place actually to find out what's going on with that. And other than LinkedIn, but yeah, I'm there, but no, I am not. Social media has never been my thing.
Fair.
Dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
It's been very interesting with this book because I have a small independent publisher, so no infrastructure. But I found this great little PR company, and they're great. They make me post on LinkedIn. And, I didn't want to. I said, no, everybody's just going to think they're going to be bored. They don't want to just post. And you know what? I've been loving it. It's really fun.
Awesome.
So,
That's great.
and also the other thing I've learned always is that Fraggle Rock to me is the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely. That's
Me.
definitely what I've discovered with this podcast is that, it doesn't matter that 40 years have passed. There's so much rich depth and layers left to discover.
And it's still relevant.
Maybe even more.
True.
All right, Beth and Julia, you want to plug your pluggables?
Yeah, you can find me on social media at Beth Anna Cook. That's Anna with 2 N's. And occasionally writing stuff for Tough Pigs.
So, normal plugs, at Geek Girl Growing Up on social media, juliagaskell.com for poetry, also occasionally Tough Pigs. And I'll do one last plug. The Poetry Festival that I'm the lead organizer on is happening end of June 25th to 27th. If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, it's called the Bigfoot Poetry Festival. It is like 98% free. It's 3 full days in downtown Portland of just free open mics, workshops, poetry slam tournament in the evenings, a lot of really other cool things. Check it out and come out this year, or maybe we'll see you for a future year. We'll be back again next summer. That's my pitch.
Nice. I can't be found because I'm about to jump out and scare you to test your Belubius. But if you want to hear some of my content, I was a guest on Moving Right Along, and we got to talk about my favorite 2 minutes of Muppet movie ever from Muppets from Space, where they launch Gonzo out of a cannon. It was a really great conversation.
So good.
And I was really glad to be there. So you should check them out. It's a great podcast.
All right, that is going to be it for this one. Reminder to check out toughpigs.com. Give us a good review on your podcatcher of choice, and we will see you next time.
Don't forget to dance your cares away.
Down at Fraggle Talk.
Wow.
Fraggle Talk Classic is brought to you by toughpigs.com. Fraggle Talk art by Dave Hulteen Jr. The Fraggle Rock mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Jim Henson Company. All rights reserved. Fraggle Rock theme song, written by Philip Balsam and Dennis Lee, is used with permission. Special thanks to the Jim Henson Company and the entire Fraggle Rock family. For more from Tough Pigs, follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook, and make sure to check out our Discord server, TeePublic merch store, and Patreon. Fraggle Talk Classic is produced and edited by me, Beth Cook. Thank you to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, down at Fraggle Talk.
Oh, and then Jocelyn, whenever we introduce the guest, I always have a weird little jokey intro about how the guest has come out of a magical portal or whatever the heck.
That's not jokey. I actually have come out of a magical portal.
Not surprised.
Heard. I was just gonna get very startled that you had appeared out of nowhere because it felt on theme.